What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back, ready to talk some hoops. So thank you for tuning in. And today I want to talk about another NBA draft prospect for the 2025 NBA draft, and that is Asa Newell. I believe I'm saying that correctly, but if I'm not, flood the comments, let me know. But Asa Newell is a forward/center who just finished his freshman season at the University of Georgia. And out of all the prospects, really, that I've kind of been looking at thus far, or at least have made videos about and posted about on this channel, he is a player that I have a tough time assigning a comp, because there are players that play like him, but I don't think they do it justice for how much potential he has, right? But obviously the player comp should be based on how he's playing today as opposed to how he can play in however many years, right? But so Tankathon has him going 13th overall to the Atlanta Hawks, which would be cool, you know, staying in Georgia. So that would be cool if he went to the Hawks. But a lot of people aren't familiar with this dude's game, and I think we need to talk about it a little bit, right? So the NBA player comp that I've heard, or at least seen on the internet, is a lot of people say Drew Gooden, which I don't know if I really see, and David Lee, which I see a little bit more of David Lee than Drew Gooden, but still both are a little, off. But I like the David Lee comparison because I do think this is a guy who can put up David Lee type of numbers. David Lee was like basically like a 20 and 10 guy for, at least a couple of seasons in his NBA career, right? He was like, with New York in 2010 was putting up like 20 and 12, put up 20 and 9 his second year in Golden State, 18 and 11 in 2013 with Golden State. So I think the one thing, though, is that everyone's saying, oh, well, this dude has a three-point shot, right? And David Lee really didn't have a three-point shot. David Lee shot 3% from three-point range throughout his entire NBA career. So, but I think it's just a different time, right? David Lee would still take three-pointers. He just wasn't making a lot of them. And I don't know how good this guy, Asa Newell, is going to be at taking threes from NBA range, right? I think this is a raw prospect. He's 6'11". He's like 220, and there's a lot that kind of needs to be figured out, right? He clearly has an offensive game. He can score buckets down near the paint, around the rim, around the basket, but I haven't seen much else outside of that, honestly, which doesn't mean that that's not possible, but I'm a little concerned with how much he can really expand his game when it doesn't seem like there's a lot of different qualities there right now, right? And I do think he has a lot of potential. I don't know where his game is going to go once he gets into the league, right? But he averaged 15.4 points per game this past season, 6.9 rebounds. So, shot 54% from the field, 29.2% from three, and 75% from the free throw line. So the 75% from the free throw line is a good indicator, right? That means that you do have a decent stroke. I think he does have a nice jump shot. Like, the way he shoots the ball is not crooked or messed up or anything like that. So I think he just needs to get reps up, and he'll probably be able to make shots, whether it's from three or mid-range or, the free throw line. It doesn't really matter. I think he'll be able to make shots. He's just got to get a lot of reps up. Averaged a block and a steal per game. So that's also solid defensive output. But he doesn't really necessarily like stand out defensively, right? And maybe that's just me. Maybe I haven't seen enough of him to really, give that full conclusion. But I would like to see where his defense is going to go at the next level. Because when I was first kind of thinking about it, I was like, he kind of has the body type. He's probably a little bit more built, so he's not going to be as quick as like a Jaden McDaniels, right? Jaden McDaniels is like 6'10", 6'11". I think they list him at like 6'8" or 6'9", but the dude is tall. Dude is very tall. So, practically a 7-footer playing the forward position, playing the 3 spot mainly. Like, Jaden McDaniels can do that because he plays offensively a little bit more like a guard than a lot of dudes his size do. So I just don't think that that's going to be a possibility for Asa Newell. I think the Jaden McDaniels prototype is a lot different than what Asa Newell is going to be kind of brought up to be in the league. But I think if he could be a David Lee type of guy where he's getting 20 and 10, by all means, pick this dude at the tail end of the lottery. That pick is by far worth it, right? But I just like, I can't even think of like another player that really does the same thing. I mean, Tristan Thompson was another dude that came to mind, right? Because Tristan Thompson is crafty around the rim, but he's not like an offensive threat by any means, right? And 15.4 points a night in college is decent. Those are very good numbers for a freshman. But I just don't know if he's going to have super good offensive production his first couple of years in the league. Like, this might be a dude that really gets like, turned into a project and doesn't get a lot of time playing early on in the league, but then turns out to be this incredible talent, either offensively or defensively or both, a couple years down the line. That's very much so possible. Another comparison I've seen is Derek Lively, but I don't think he has the same sort of rim protecting ability as Lively. And Lively's a little bit bigger. Lively's like 7'1" or 7'2". He's a big dude. So I don't think it's the same thing, but I think Asa Newell, again, there's positives and negatives. I think Asa Newell is going to have a better offensive game in the NBA than Derek Lively does, right? At least at this point in time. I think Asa Newell has more ability to stretch the floor and, make free throws and be crafty around the basket. I think Lively is really like a lob threat, shot blocker, easy dunks and putbacks. And that's kind of what he's been molded into. And he does a great job of doing that. He's very similar to like a Tyson Chandler type of guy for the Mavericks. But I think Asa Newell has more potential to be better offensively. Defensively, I think Lively's going to take the cake on that one. But, Asa Newell has a strong possibility to be a great two-way four-man in the league. There's going to be a lot of work that needs to go into it. But I like the David Lee comparison. I think that's the best one. And I think that's a comparison he's got to work himself into a little bit. But I think if he can do that, he could be an all-star in this league. No doubt in my mind. So that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you think about Asa Newell in the comments down below. Who do you think his NBA player comp is? And let's talk about it. That's all I got. I'm going to catch you later. Stay up, stay blessed, stay safe, stay humble, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.